Guys, what is going on? Waffles is right underneath the desk. He is sleeping. He's snoozing. I'll pull him up if he wakes up. But guys, quick little change of play here. I've got all these parts, these computer parts, right? Breadboards, DuPont wires, uh, uh, packaging case for the project, a Raspberry Pi, a controller, and a screen, and solenoids. Little guys up, and solenoids, and a few other bits of memory cards and whatnot over here in this corner. And the reason why I bring that up, oh, here, let's get Waffles as the mix. Come here, buddy. Oh boy, he's up. He's up, and he's stinking cute. Definitely stinking right now. But so I ran just as of today. You know this. I don't know if it's real or not, but Iran just took some heat from the U.S. and it kind of gave me an idea. So we might pivot from the relationship software. It's been postponed once more, unfortunately. Um, Although still super important is relationship software. I think right now there's an opportunity, and I happen to have a skill set of both software and I've done authorization for a company, and then I've done biometrics for another company. So it's like I'm gonna build biometric authorization real quick, and that's gonna be the goal that we do today. This could be an MVP lightweight build, or not today. Excuse me. It's gonna take much longer than just today to build a software version and a hardware. Let me put Waffles down. Uh, because the idea is build a bit of software that also some uh, hardware gets triggered when certain things happen on the front end. Now it needs to be usable. It needs to be quick. Um, I'm not really sure what we're going to call this bit of software either, which is a bit. We could use the vCell backend. It could just be vCell. We could just because I guess technically, the relationship software at some point maybe does do biometric scanning too to make sure it's like a real person, all that stuff. Which yeah, maybe we do that. Maybe we just kind of retrofit some ideas there that in biometrically requires biometric signatures to do something. I mean that might work, guys. And this is gonna be a fucking build for sure. But I do believe it's within my wheelhouse, and I'm the person to do it. I would say so. But we'll see. It might also already be built. It probably already is. But I just want kind of a commercially viable and, being honest, maybe a military application for it. So this is just going to be an MVP build of it all, just to show that I can do it, and that if by some grace of God and some lucky miracle that we land a military contract, then we're gonna properly build this thing out a little more. You know what I mean? But okay, so being that we got the vCell backend already up and kind of already pre-configured for a little bit of the APIs and all that stuff, and we just got to the user model, let's just go ahead and do some of that. And we got stuck on the database bit. I hadn't touched nothing since. Let me just make sure we are. Oh, this brings me back to the good old days of program with pegs, where it's just mobs and code. That's all I had. Mobs and code. It's still really all I got. Okay. It's crazy to think when I started that channel, I was just fresh off of working at a lab at a blood analyte lab, and I was probably arguably the worst engineer on site. Now we had an offshore team, but I was probably a little bit more dominant than some of the offshore guys. Um, but on site, and these are still engineers that I very much would consider friends and have learned from, and a lot of bits about that. There, they definitely accelerated my career and helped me a lot because these were guys that, like, one of them like worked at Amazon, like one of them had a Bitcoin thing way early on where He had Bitcoin trading on his app like way early when Apple was like, much more like didn't know what Bitcoin was, when Bitcoin was like really early on. And then Apple literally called him, and he had to rewrite his entire, or he made Apple rewrite their entire terms of service where they added a Bitcoin trading clause in their applications. He's actually one of my best buds. So he's a really, really, really good friend of mine. Um, okay, we got API. Okay, what was happening with this bit? 500 internal server error, Prisma client. Error, Prisma client did not. Please run Prisma generate. Try to import it again. Let's go to our package.json and no, that's just npx Prisma generate. Why did it not? Prisma client generated. Start your Prisma client. Try Prisma Accelerate. We'll give Prisma Accelerate a go at some point. Yeah, guys, but so I was very lucky. That was like my first serious. I had a few little contract jobs when I was getting into software. One of my other buddies, he like hired me, and I had a little contract thing for like another little like crypto-y thing. Um, but yeah, that working at that lab by far was like the most acceleration of my mental bandwidth for software. It was very, very, very mentally challenging because it was also supposed to be like a senior position, right? And I was like 6 months into learning software. Like, I was very much a junior, and you know, I was not prepped for it. Yeah, I did as best I could for sure, but it was like I was only like 6 or 10 months into learning software. Like I was not geared, and they knew, you know what I mean? Like they gave me somewhere between like a mid to senior position there, but it was pretty spoiling for sure. And but a lot was demanded of me, and I was like, oh sheesh, like I'm not quite quite ready for that level of sorry, I'm just throwing all this stuff into some AI real quick just to fix this error, because I've done this 100 times, and I'm so, oh, is it Prisma from Prisma client? Is that why? What did I do in this project? Prisma client. No, looks like it's from Prisma client. It says Prisma client here. But every time it's listed as Prisma is not instantiated. We just need a database, you know what I mean? We don't need all of but here let's try to build this ASAP. So web, and we'll say prisma.ts. But yeah, it was very, back to talking about that lab and the lab days, man. I was working so hard too, because I was like, I felt like such an imposter, and I was like, how did I land this job? Like I just felt so like not the person for that job, you know? But they were very supportive. It was a really good team, to be honest. It was one of those teams where I was just constantly learning. And I really haven't been on a team that dominant since. I've been on good software teams. I've worked with a lot of good engineers since and stuff, but nothing like that. Like that was just very, 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 very lucky. Very spoiling, if you will. Uh, oh, hold on. I need to add node environment to my environment file. Node environment equals development. But yeah, guys, so that was not to harp on that more, but I could not believe it. And then a couple months down the road, 6 months down the road, that company unfortunately had some troubles. And then, okay, what is going on? It should not be this complicated. New Prisma client. Prisma Global is global.prisma. Or what if we just make it always? No. All right, we're gonna read the Prisma docs. This is, I don't know why it changed so. There's no way it changed this much. It wouldn't even make sense. No, we just need the docs. But yeah, it was very, let's see, Mongo, we're using Postgres. Oh, you know what? I wonder if easy deal here. Oh, we are using Postgres there. I was gonna say that would have been too freaking easy. And then source. Now, where's this? Source generated Prisma. Okay. Okay, that looks right. That looks right. Okay, database URL. I just don't understand. It was never this convoluted. In fact, it was so simple. That's why I used it. This is making me want to use DynamoDB. Like that'll be fucking easier at this point. So I will. I'll make it done. The thing I like about Prisma is just like it's always cheap and dirty and just easy to use. So that's why I like popping to it real quick. But I don't know. Maybe it's a blessing. This isn't working. It's still saying Prisma client. API v1 compiled error did not initialize. Please run Prisma generate. Import it again. Okay, let's look at the chunks. Here we go. Require. Now we're getting into why. Okay. That might be why. But if I could go back, that would be one bit of experience I would never change was working for that lab. Now I it was short lived for sure. You know, by the end of it, I think I worked like 7 months there, 6 months there. Um, but the acceleration that I had as a junior engineer, because right away I was around all these senior, if not staff level engineer guys, and immediately I was instead of going through the ranks of like junior to like junior mid to mid senior to like senior to staff, like I started just pulling in their habits like immediately. You know what I mean? Like it started just instead of me like ranking myself up like, oh, let me stumble on this problem, let me stumble to this problem, let me stumble to this problem. It honestly just started making me like it started just kind of make by the end of my 6 months, and I know that's pretty aggressive to even say because I definitely still had a lot more to learn for sure. Um, but by the end of my 6 months, it was like, oh shit, like I'm a completely different engineer for sure, undeniably. It was very clear as day for me that I had definitely upgraded my skill set for sure. What's that, guys? And like aggressively upgraded my skill set, right? Like it wasn't just a like, oh, you got a little better. It was like when I got to that job, I had like two or three buddies where we previous to that job we were like engineering buddies and we'd kind of study together. We'd always get on Zooms together. We'd one of them, him and I would meet up in Texas and write code together. We were all about relatively same, you know, maybe like some weeks one person was learning a bit more. But after I worked there, it was like it was not even close. It was such a different like I was just on a completely different tier of engineering. Um, all right, let's see. This is what it's saying to have here. What do you say? By removing the output line. Okay, so maybe I don't need that output line. Maybe that was part of the issue. Now we'll take a look at the chunks once more in a sec. Just really should not be this fucking complicated. Still interesting. Okay, let's delete the next. So it's some silly bug. I mean, these things are bound to pop up every once in a while. It just slows you down a ton. And it's something to now it's a P20221, which is just going to be Prisma client version. So let's use Prisma 6. And let's run with that for right now and just get moving as quickly as possible. I might need to delete node modules and server and package lock, and let's reinstall. And stuff like that. Like I learned stuff like that literally at that lab, where they're like, dude, yeah, just delete your node mod, find your package lock. Like, oh, why? Like I didn't know the state of like your packages change. And I'm sure AI knows stuff like that now for sure, but like just those guys, they knew so much. Like and that would just be like a tiny thing, you know what I mean? Like they just knew so fucking much. And it was really, 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 really refreshing. You know what I mean? It was one of them things where you're just like, and the conversations we had too. That was what I really enjoyed about it, because we would talk about like, the hashing algorithms of Bitcoin, or why Bitcoin makes sense from like not only a ideological standpoint, but from like a math standpoint. Like I don't know, it was, and we would get into it. It was so fun. Like I loved it so much, just being around really, really, really bright minds. Okay, what is going? This is the longest I've ever had for Prisma to. Is it because they're probably trying to do away with Pages directory? I'm sure that's got to be it. So okay, let's learn how to write some app directory code then. But I've done this before, and I actually really hate doing that too, because it just sucks. Also, like, uh, yeah, just it's not very fun. Right, app directory APIs, because they just take longer, and there's no real benefit from it from like an actual tech stack standpoint. Now all the JavaScript engineers, they're always on the cutting line of stuff. They're always like, oh well, this thing came out, this new npm command came, but it's like, dude, like shut the fuck up. Like nobody cares. Like oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of so far out of engineering a bit now. I'm more into businesses and building stuff now. You know what I mean? So, but part of it's that reason, because it's like this is how I see software going. It's like it's not going to engineers who sit there and argue about um, the correct syntax and snake casing versus camel casing. It's like it's gonna go to the entrepreneurial dudes who know how to leverage all their stuff. I mean, I said it way back then. The business engineers, like I said that fucking 2 years ago. and I think it's coming to fruition now. So I wonder if this is going to change all the middleware too. I don't know. I don't know if middleware gets all weirded out. You know what I mean? With the app directory, I'm actually pretty uh, new to all the app directory stuff, but use body email. Let's see. What is all this? Get route. Okay, fetch all users. That's awesome. See, but this is why I don't understand why it's so convoluted here. Like, okay, so Prisma, it should just be Prisma.user get user return the fucking user. Error code. Let's just not do all that. Problem solved. Okay, now we're back in the mix. See if that works. 404, page not found. Why is page not found? Surely it's here. You know what I mean? It's right in front of us. Why is this always a problem live? You know what I mean? Like maybe I've lost my touch some, but I don't really see why this is a Prisma client. We don't really need all this. That's fine for now. Okay. Still a 404. Okay, we might just go ahead and use DynamoDB or like Microsoft Azure at this point. Because this is fucking annoying. This is fucking annoying. I'm down to use Azure, to be honest. Azure, I actually like Azure a lot. And that would probably help with the tech stack. Next in Azure, it's like you go to some military and they're like, you're using Prisma, bro. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Okay. Okay, so I've got Microsoft Azure pulled up. And let's create a resource. Problem is, I'm not going to be as good at this. I'll be good still. You know what I mean? I've built auth-ln into Azure, but it just sucks because you gotta set things up and APIs up, and it's way too much work for just like trying to get basic functionality out. You know. But the upside is it's very scalable. But it's very expensive. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. We're not going to go down that path because I can see this. Well, we'll actually have to use some API from either AWS or Azure. Yeah, we will. We will at some point. Okay. All right. All right. I've got this. I've got to be able to figure this out. There's no way this is fucking this complicated. There's no way. I've missed a step somewhere. Something so simple. Let me just ask ChatGPT. I want to use Prisma and XJS. How do I do this? Install Prisma. We've already instantiated it. That'll work. We've got our Postgres database. We've got migrate dev. Is that all we needed? Is that the one fucking command we needed? A folder called Prisma already exists. Okay, let's delete it. Or excuse me, let's install and Prisma init. Please try again. Okay, and let's. Could not find Prisma schema. Why? Why is it doing this? What is going on? What? Like, bruv. What the fuck is going on? There we go. Okay. We're using Postgres, and let's go ahead and do that. And oh my gosh, it might have been that easy the whole time. If that's all we had to do, I'm gonna be so pissed. I'm gonna be so pissed off, but also not, because then it's working. You know what I mean? 404 not found, so that's just gonna be our API here, and let's pop that back into Pages. Let's reset the server, and maybe she'll be on. It was the fucking npx migrate the whole time. I'm gonna shake something, and it's not gonna be this cutie waffles. Fucking 25 minutes for no reason. That was a 2-minute job. I'm fucking pissed off at myself, but we've got an ID. We've got users working. I'm gonna pop it in the next episode right now.